Hello, everybody. The question we're going to answer today is how do you persuade someone who's not really interested, who doesn't want, you understand that, this is what you want them to do because that's good for them, but they don't really want to do that.
Yeah, definitely tough. Because generally when you're trying to persuade people, they're going to be resistant to it for a variety of different reasons. Sometimes people, I mean, this is straightforward. People hate being told what to do. If you tell them, it's like the difference between you wanting to wash the dishes and help out your parents versus them telling you to go wash the dishes and immediately you don't want to do it anymore. So when people trying to tell, if they're trying to tell you what to do, you don't want to do it. So, one way that you could try to convince someone in that point is kind of I don't know, it's hard, you probably start small with like smaller requests and then go up to bigger requests, or in that situation, just give them more autonomy. Ask them like, "Hey, what do you feel like doing? And would you like to?" instead of saying, "Do this." And that might be one way to go about that one. If people are skeptical about what you're suggesting and they're like, "I don't think that's gonna work. I don't really think that I'll be happy uh drinking tea instead of coffee every day," then you could kind of ask them to think about, what would it look like in the future? Because you want to get around their skepticism of it. But one way you can do that is by asking them, how would this look in 1 week? How would you feel in 1 week if you did this instead? And kind of get them to think about the future and what it would be like, so you can get over their skeptical logic in the moment and kind of focus more on the benefits rather than the costs that are making them skeptical in your persuasion request. And sometimes people just don't want to change, and that's generally a hard one to get around. But I think there's some strategies that you can use there. Akshay, do you have any strategies for that?
Yeah, I mean, so I was looking at like smaller things and like bigger things. For example, like if it's say like you want someone to stop smoking, right? That's something like pretty big, and they can't say, "Hey, I'm gonna spend that time learning a language," because you can't say that because learning a language needs focus, effort, and all those things, and that's not why you go. That's not why you smoke. And like if you do that, like, you might still learn the language, but you won't have stopped smoking because of it. Because you know, smoking is not serving that purpose. But say you instead of say smoking, you go there and like do breathing exercises or like meditation with a chewing gum, right? So you do have something to do with your mouth, but at the same time you're just breathing in and breathing out, and you're giving yourself an alternate path. But this is because it is something very serious. Let's say it's something like like throwing the trash out, or cleaning the dishes. You don't really need to give them like an alternate path. For those things, you can annoying punishments. Like if you don't do the dishes by 10 o'clock, you have to wear wet socks for an hour. Or if you don't, take the trash out, I'm going to put the trash on you. And then, so those are things where they would still have to clean out their space because they can't really do stuff. And that would just annoy them. And of course, if you give out these mild, annoying threats, and I mean that like literally, it should be a mild, annoying threat. It shouldn't be, if you're not here, get out of my house. No, like that's not. I mean, it's like it should be annoying. It shouldn't be like life threatening, and that's very important. So by doing that, it's getting to a stage where if they don't do by 10 o'clock, they have to persuade you saying, "Hey, like I was actually very busy because like I was sick, that's why I couldn't do this," or so they won't just be, "Sorry, I was lazy, I didn't do it." Because if they do, it's gonna annoy them, and by annoying them, you're also just like a bit okay with them not doing it because it's just funny at the end of the day.
I like that. It's more lighthearted approach. Um, and yeah, there's the overall strategies of ethos, logos, and pathos that are mentioned in like persuasive writing in English classes, where logos is using logical arguments as to why is this illogical, like using a rational approach to convince someone. Ethos is it's evidence-based, so you're pulling on like the expertise, you're making yourself someone worth listening to. This is probably an issue with, you know, age gap, where people might think, oh, you're younger than me, I don't want to listen to you, or you're just a college student, what do you know? You have to establish your credibility of like, hey, this isn't just me, you know, there's these experts in these universities, or establishing, you know, I've convinced someone before, or I am studying psychology, or whatever it is, you know, you come up with establish your credibility so if someone wants to listen to you. And then pathos, which is just the emotional appeal of, but it would make me feel better and it would make you feel better. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can have arguments with a lot of people, and you know that like, usually people do have a way of arguing, which I think people should be a jack of all trades, and depending on the situation, they should pick one, because sometimes emotional arguments work, sometimes rational arguments work. And honestly, I would say the hardest person to argue with is someone who's set in their way, someone you respect. So you can't just badger them with your opinions. You have to be respectful. Like say something, you have to be okay. You have to keep validating what they're saying, and it's just way more harder.
Yeah, I think we should, you know, talk more about that because it's definitely a hard thing to do.
Yeah, we should. Let's do that tomorrow.
Sounds good. Alrighty, see you then.
Oh, you're still here? Well, thanks for getting to the end of the video. Hey, while you're still here, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get new updates when we post videos. Also, make sure to check out these equally exciting videos as well. Have you pressed it yet? Come on, you have 5 seconds left. 3, 2, press it now!